Hey, what's going on, YouTube? This is your boy King Gabe here, and we're here to talk about another what I saw at the movies. Technically Disney Plus, but still counts because it was just released last week, just last week, and it is not on DVD or Blu-ray. The live-action 2022 Pinocchio. Yes. I meant to look at it earlier when it first came out, but I was in the middle of uploading, in the process of uploading some videos making some videos to upload. Matter of fact, I got, which y'all probably already done seen it by the time this video comes out. But as I'm recording this one, I actually have a video on the laptop that's uploading now, which is the Royal Talk of the Door in the Lost City of Gold, while I'm recording on this laptop as well. So yeah, kind of got a little multitasking going here. I kind of sound like old Tim from Tim Reacts there a little bit, but I just finished, since it was taking a while for the video that's uploading right now, since it's taking it a while to upload because it was pretty lengthy. I figured this would be this was the perfect time to take a look at the Pinocchio movie and give my 2 cents on it, and also prove some of these haters wrong there about these. Then again, they're gonna think whatever they want to think regardless of what I say. So, but yeah, this movie is actually really good. There, it's much like some of the other live action remakes they made. I don't know what people seem. Now I understand people having, they prefer the classic, the animated version better because that's what they grew up with. I mean, I grew up with a lot of the animated Disney movies: Pinocchio, Aladdin, Lion King, Little Mermaid, all that. And that's understandable that if you just like one more than the other. Sort of like how someone I knew, and also my sister, she likes the original DuckTales more so than the reboot. She doesn't hate the reboot DuckTales, but she just likes, she's more liking of the old one, and also more liking of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers more so than, a lot of the new Rangers that came after them and stuff like that. So yeah, that I kind of can understand there. That's fine there. Fine there. What I don't like is when, so you say you don't like it, but then you want to try to make others believe that just because you don't like this, that it's a well-known fact that what you don't like is bad, just because you think it's bad. And just completely wanting to change the opinion of somebody else that does like it. So yeah, that I do not like, and that seemed like what a lot of these reviewers and just people posting on Twitter and stuff like that seem to be doing. Not everyone, but it seemed like some of them are doing it, and that it's not so much they're coming out saying that exactly, like in exact words, like I'm going to make you believe what I believe. But their delivery of how they are putting their opinions out there, the way they're putting it out there is, as I guess you say, is really assertive there. So, yeah. So anyway, enough with the rambling. Let's get to talking about this movie while it is still fresh in my mind. First of all, I gotta say, Tom Hanks and Geppetto, really good job. Really, seemed like it's really amazing. Tom Hanks is still doing some pretty good acting roles there. He did the Splash movie that Christina and I talked about a while ago. As Alan, who fell in love with the mermaid. Then he was in all 4 Toy Story movies as Woody the cowboy, and then we got to see him play Mr. Rogers, and now he is Geppetto. Yep. And I know there's some other movies that he's done, but those are the ones that I know about there. It's pretty obvious that he's done some other movies too to be as big as he is there. So, that's a pretty big name there behind Tom Hanks. Sort of like Robin Williams, God rest his soul, doing all the stuff that he does there, when he was here. Not sure about the other actors, but they all did a pretty good job there. I definitely like sort of the new. They kept a lot of the stuff from the original movie, and of course, just like any adaptation, when you remake, you got to add a little something different to it, to make it kind of stand on its own compared to where it's come from. Just like the remake of the 2017 DuckTales, they kept to the original source material of DuckTales, but they added a lot more to it, like the whole extended Disney Afternoon universe, and even added even more stuff from the DuckTales comics that may or may not have been in the original DuckTales series from the 80s. But yeah, so yeah, they had that going there. One thing, let's see. So start from the beginning. Jiminy Cricket. Oh my goodness. I'm pretty sure I highly doubt that's the actor that played in the original animated series, but he did a really good imitation of it. I'm pretty sure that's a new actor. But yeah, he did a good imitation and even added a little bit of his own thing in there, sort of like when they got Will Smith to play the genie. He didn't only in his case he didn't exactly try to copy Robin Williams. He did make it his own and sort of made a Fresh Prince genie. In this case, so this new Jiminy Cricket, he actually got he is pretty humorous. I'm gonna add that there. Yeah, he's definitely a humorous character. And he even breaks the fourth wall in this movie. Oh, by the way, there are spoilers. I should have said that at the beginning. But if you've been watching my What I Saw at the Movies, or any review that we've done on this channel, even Royal Talks or this one, or just talking about the movies in general, and even when we talking about She-Hulk, we're going to spoil things. So yeah. So that's the he was really hilarious. Broke the fourth wall like She-Hulk and Deadpool. Because right at the beginning of the movie, he breaks the fourth wall. He's like, wait, who are you? Well, I'm the narrator. I know exactly what's going to happen at the end of this story. Oh, really? Do you know if I'll find a place to keep myself warm? He just. Oh boy! I was like, you're Disney. You entertained me right from the beginning of the movie. and one thing I definitely got to say to you, Disney, if you're watching this, before I go further, all these people out here, I mean, like I say, is they have their opinions. We got free speech, blah 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 blah. As Green Lantern said about Wonder Woman when she got mad about that guy talking about her, and Green Lantern was like, "Princess, I don't like him any more than you do, but in this country, the man's entitled to his opinion, however bold it is." Democracy in action. Hey, didn't the Greeks invent that? So, yeah, they're gonna do it. So but one thing I just want to say to you, Disney. Don't let them stop. Don't let them be the reason that you stop doing what you're doing. You want, because I know you got the Little Mermaid coming out, remake of that. And I think they say there's supposed to be one for Snow White. I don't know what to expect with that. Like I say, I gotta see it. Yeah, just like with the Little Mermaid and this movie, gotta see it. I don't say I see it first, then I give my 2 cents on it. So, but just saying though, don't let these haters, like make you think like all of a sudden, oh, maybe we should stop doing this. There, look, as I say, and they talk about, well, Disney's not making original content. Yes, Disney is also making original content plus these remakes. And obviously there is an audience for them, like myself, Because if there wasn't an audience for these movies, they wouldn't still be making these things. So, like I say, I will admit the only remakes, in my opinion, that I was not too fond of was Beauty and the Beast, and because of the creepy furniture and kind of how the story went for that in the first half of the movie, and Maleficent movies because um, not real they because that really didn't come across as an adaptation of Sleeping Beauty. That sort of was something completely different. But other than that, Cinderella, Lion King, Aladdin, Mulan. Mulan was I was like so one of my former co-writers was like, man, Mulan remake is so bad. I look at the movie, I was like, okay, tell me why it's bad again, because I just see a good movie here. So Mulan, and now this movie, and I have high expectation for the Little Mermaid one. I'm expecting it to be good. Really hope they did it because it seems like this is going to be a really big hype on it, and possibly even Snow White. However, that's what I'm saying. Keep, if you want to, go through your rogue gallery of classics and see what they're going to see how they work in live action form. Definitely do that, because I mean that's an interesting addition to add to your Disney vault. There, you can have the best of both worlds, especially but both best of both worlds because like I say, I know I'm saying I like what I'm about to talk about here, but even ones that even if it come across to a remake that I don't like, that doesn't mean that somebody else is probably gonna like it. So just saying, the only way you'll know is when you put it out there. That's how, and just keep going. Don't stop because of the haters. Oh, now if you choose to on your own Disney, that's up to you and the mouse. But don't let it be because of these haters out here. Okay, now with that said, so yeah, Jiminy Cricket really made me laugh. Tom Hanks Geppetto, he had some humor to him. I like the fact that they had Pinocchio look really close to his cartoon kind of. I mean, it was almost like they pretty much gave Pinocchio the Sonic the Hedgehog treatment. You remember how when Sonic first came out, it was like that we didn't he had that ugly mouth and stuff going. Meow. Ah! Oh, what the? So then they spent millions of dollars to redo him. That sort of looks like what they did with Pinocchio, except they said no, we're not. And I think there's another Pinocchio movie out somewhere that came out. I don't know. I may look at. It just all depends on how I feel. But with this one, yeah, especially being that it's Disney, they pretty much pulled animated Pinocchio and just right into the CGI like Sonic. So there you go, and it really did work. And also the CG with Jiminy, they even did it with Cleo and Figaro. They had to done it with them because in order to get the facial expressions like Cleo and Figaro have. All that was done really well. That was of course, they captivated all the little moments with Geppetto, making Pinocchio and wishing he had a real boy. Oh, they added some more detail to why Geppetto wanted a real boy. You sort of have to really pay attention to the movie, but he's looking at a picture of his son, of this little boy, and it's obviously that's got to be Geppetto's son. So he doesn't say it in the movie, but apparently something must have happened to his son and also his wife, which sort of pulls a page from The Adventures of Pinocchio, a non-Disney Pinocchio movie that came out back, I want to say late 90s, early 2000. because I do remember seeing it in theaters, and I do have a copy of it. It's definitely should check that out too. The Adventures of Pinocchio. It's actually even better. So when I first saw it, it was just I was like, it's okay. I like it. I actually like the movie better now, looking back on it. There, so yeah, but they sort of pulled a page from that, where I think Geppetto did have, I guess, a love interest in that movie. In this one, yeah, they just came out and it just comes out, he had not only just a kid, but obviously a wife too, and yeah, something happened to his wife and his kid there, and that's why he's by himself in the wood shop and everything. And the clocks. The clocks are actually a memento of his wife, so he didn't want to sell that was the only thing in his shop he didn't want to sell was his clocks there. Sort of like Grandpa from Yu-Gi-Oh! When he didn't want to, give his Blue Eyes White Dragon because his friends Arthur Hawkins gave that to him. Yeah, Rebecca's grandpa. So yeah, that I actually liked that little addition. It definitely added some sympathy, some emotion to Geppetto's story a little bit. One of the reasons of the extended runtime, they definitely added a little bit to the movie, to sort of spice it up a bit there. Then, of course, and it's also pretty it's also pretty cool the way he makes his wish too. The original cartoon, he actually did come out and say, "I wish Pinocchio was a real boy." In this case, he says, I wish," and he keeps stuttering on it, but he doesn't say it though. However, anybody who's seen the animated Pinocchio movie knows what he's gonna wish for though. But anybody who hasn't seen the Disney Pinocchio, and really I think it would be hard not to know about Pinocchio at this point, because from my observation, in my opinion, I think Pinocchio has the most adaptations of any fairy tale there out there, because I have seen my share of Pinocchio growing up as a kid, not just Disney, but I remember checking out other Pinocchio movies in the library. Like, wow, this story has been around, and I even knew of the old fairy tale a little bit back as a kid too. Yep. So yeah. So with that, yeah, he doesn't say what he wished for out loud, but we know what it's gonna be. It sort of makes me think of when a kid blows out the candles on their birthday cake, but they don't tell you what they wish for. If you tell your wish, it won't come true. So that was actually neat. They not something they had to do, but it was kind of neat to sort of change it to that there. No biggie. Then of course, I actually thought that Pinocchio was going to come alive, like in the Adventures of Pinocchio. Like maybe we weren't going to see the fairy, or even if we did see the fairy, maybe she would show up like towards like the coming close to the climax of the movie, sort of like the original story where I think the Blue Fairy showed up like late in the story of Pinocchio, and yeah, so but they did show the fairy. They just had the entrance of her a little different, and much like how we gonna have an African American mermaid for the Little Mermaid, we have an African American blue fairy, which has a really good singing voice, by the way, and also good line delivery from her. It's different from, of course, the original Blue Fairy the cartoon, but again, this is not a remake adaptation. Gotta change it up a little bit, just a little bit, gotta have some difference from the old story. That's just a kind of a thing, whenever you retell a story. That way it won't look like you just copy and paste, like, sort of like I do when I be putting certain things in my description boxes in the video. By the way, check the description box to see the Patreon link so you can support us on Patreon. I had a moment there. But seriously, do support us on Patreon. Anyway, so with that, yeah, Blue Fairy comes in. Pinocchio is made real. Jiminy, of course, is made into Pinocchio's conscience, and it's even a funny bit of dialogue where they mention about Jiminy going from house to house and stuff like that. So yeah, what more do you have, Jiminy? Very well, say. So yeah, that happens. Geppetto celebrates that his boy is real. They took the gun away from Geppetto because in the original cartoon, yeah, when he was when Pinocchio, when they were singing that song, and always let your conscience be your guide, and Pinocchio fell over and Geppetto picked up that shotgun, and Pinocchio like, here I am, pow. Yeah, they took that out. I don't know why, but oh well. That's not a major loss there, but we did get a funny Geppetto jump scare scene, though. That he celebrates the fact that he has that Pinocchio is alive, despite the fact he's a real wooden boy that's alive, but he has to earn his way of becoming a real boy, as we all know. Then of course he has to go to school. Oh boy, the school scene now. This is where I really started to notice some differences from the cartoon, from the original animated. And when I say I noticed some differences, be advised, this is not meant to complain. This is not meant to be a complaint. This is actually meant like, oh my gosh, oh wow, they went there. More like amazement there. So, don't get it twisted, haters. So anywho, so he's on his way to school. Kind of made me also think about both the Disney and the early 2000s, late 90s live action Pinocchio. Just a little bit there, kind of like both of them in a blender. Just like the original animated Disney, I was not for sure how they were going to do this since it was supposed to be live action. But the fox and the cat, they were just there. Just like the cartoon. And like the cartoon, they didn't really have an explanation of why they were like that. Because even when I watched the original cartoon, I looking back on that before this movie came out, I wondered how were they able to just be like they were, talking fox and cat. Where did they come from? Because especially the talking, the cat doesn't really say anything, but he's anthropomorphic like the fox. And yet you have Figaro, who is the domestic animal. So what is their backstory? How did they get the way they are? One theory that I have is that maybe the same stuff at Pleasure Island that turned the boys into donkeys, maybe it turned them into a fox and a cat at some point, and I guess they just roam the streets as a fox and a cat there. So that's pretty much the only thing I came up with, and that theory actually I came up with after I rewatched the Adventures of Pinocchio, because they showed someone falling in the water that made the boys donkeys in that movie, and he became something completely different that wasn't even a donkey. At least that's what it was implied when Pinocchio was like, hey, this water's turned everybody into donkeys, so yeah, but that's a theory. My theory, and cut. Film theory joke. So anywho, so yeah, they got the fox and the cat. They're actually kind of cartoony, but then again, this CGI actually is not bothersome to them all, because they actually, because of the fact that they're kind of cartoony looking, they do look really close to their cartoon counterpart. they have some realism to them. The Cat and the Fox, much like Pinocchio, and even Jiminy had a little realism. They added the cricket chirp to Jiminy too, but you could still tell that was like the animated Jiminy cricket. He even had I forgot what he said it was, but he even had kind of a, I guess a full name, and I guess Jiminy was like the nickname or something. Being all proper. Cricket's name, Jiminy Cricket. So yeah, the Fox and the Cat. Oh, you talking about them being temptation? They really have the temptation down there of trying to get Pinocchio to come to see Strong Bully and be a part of the show. Much now, like the cartoon, they do the hi didgeridoo, an actor's life for me. Jiminy shows up, and the funny thing happened. Remember how the Cat knocked the Fox out because Jiminy was standing on the Fox's head? There's nothing up there to be afraid of. And there was this whole segment of the Cat trying to get the Fox out of the. And by the way, if y'all, I know they have a name. I know they have names, but if y'all know them, put them in the comment section, because I'm trying. Like I say, I'm not, as the rules of this segment, I'm not looking at any notes like I do in the Royal Talk. Now, if it was the Royal Talk, I probably would have their names in the notes. So yeah, I'm ad-libbing this. But yeah, but unlike the cartoon where they had this segment of trying to get the Fox head out of his hat there, in this case they just knocked the Fox out, and the Cat accidentally knocks himself out. So Jiminy is actually able to get Pinocchio to go on to school, which is something kind of different. Like, oh, okay, so he's gonna go to school, but he actually goes inside the school too, and the Fox and the Cat, they just so happen that they regain conscious, and they actually witness this. Pinocchio gets kicked out because the teacher says this is only a school for real boys, not puppets. Yeah, you'd think he would be like, oh my god, a living puppet? This is amazing! But no, we just don't allow puppets even if you can talk. Okay, so they added that, and that leads, and the Fox the Fox really asserts himself. I mean, he really takes advantage of this. He's like, see, that's not for real boys. So the show for Strong Bully is just for you. Let's go. Like, wow. That really kind of added a layer, because see, that they even went so far as to say, well, if you want your father to believe that you're real, you're gonna go to this show. So it kind of the temptation is really tempting, and from Pinocchio's perspective here. So he's like, okay, I guess I'll go there. And rather, now, like in the cartoon, when he went to Strong Bully's show, Jiminy actually did watch, and the show was a success, and Jiminy was like, maybe he don't need a conscience after all. And this one, he's stuck in a jar after the Fox and Cat leave with Pinocchio. So and he's stuck in there for a while. I'll get to when he gets out. So they get to Strong Bully's show, and of course, just similar to the cartoon, he does do that. Well, speaking in Italian, I'm speaking. I don't really speak Italian. It's fun about that. I don't really speak Italian. Yeah, that was just gibberish I was saying. But no, he actually does speak Italian. Which, looking back on the movie, I think he be cussing in that. That's what it seemed like. It's implying that he's cussing or something. Like, so yeah, you get that. I got no strings to hold me down, to make me frown, to make me. They've got strings, but you can see there are no strings on me. I hold a stereo. That's the only way to be. Dun dun dun. I want the world to know nothing ever worries me. Dun dun dun. So yeah, you get that. Another thing they added to the movie, especially it's kind of it's pretty small in the movie, and I think it only appears like twice, but it's not a bad addition. They actually add this young lady who is actually Spanish there, and she has a personal puppet. I forgot her name there because, like I said, I don't have my notes. So she Pinocchio actually becomes interested in her and her puppet, and there's a little bit of an exchange with them, almost like they're trying to make a little romance, sort of like with their other, like they're trying to add a little romance scene to Pinocchio. So so yeah, there's a kind of a moment with that. Apparently there is a little something going on. Apparently she works with Stromboli. Also, you know how some people, like when they say, like, if they broke their leg or their arm, they get a replacement arm or leg. She has one of those, which is a wooden leg that she has. So she kind of considers herself like a part marionette, kind of, but she really wants to be a ballerina. So there's that little subplot there, and then of course we know Geppetto's going to go out looking for Pinocchio. He actually takes Cleo and Figaro with him. We get to see him take them with him, because in the animated movie he left Figaro and Cleo behind and was looking for Pinocchio. And then as time passed, when Pinocchio went to Pleasure Island and then came back and finally got back home, apparently Geppetto had not only left, but I guess he must have come back and got Cleo and Figaro, and then went out and then got swallowed by the whale. I think the Blue Fairy left that message for him in the animated series. Here, I think you only you only see the Blue Fairy at the beginning of the movie. Yeah, so she does not come to let Pinocchio out of the cage. There's a very interesting way how he gets out of that, though. But also with Geppetto, yeah, like I say, takes Figaro and Cleo with him. Jiminy is able to get out because there's this comment about all these rocks on this gravelly path leading up to the school, and he's saying, Jiminy said, like, a coach run through here and they'll flick rocks all over the place, sort of like the rocky paths you go through when you're driving on those dirt roads in the country. So one of those rocks flicks up, hits the jar where Jiminy's able to get out, and he gets into the chariot with Stromboli, just as Pinocchio has been thrown in the cage. Of course, Jiminy, of course, is unable to get the lock open without the key. So in this scenario, rather than magic opening the door, Pinocchio tells some fibs, and when he realizes that his nose is growing because of the fibs, or the lies, I might as well say, he does it more on purpose then, so that his nose will reach the key and Jiminy can get it in order to unlock it. Then he tells the truth to make it come back in. Which is sort of another page from the Adventures of Pinocchio. When he didn't realize that, when he realized that the lies were making his nose grow. Yeah, so that's a pretty neat little feature from another movie. And I think they also did something like that in with Shrek's version of Pinocchio. There was some things that he said I'd rather let you see here in the movie. Yeah, so and by the way, Shrek, I do like the Shrek movies. Just that scene when they were trying to get Pinocchio to tell a lie, the lies he told was like, no. So anyway, back to the 2022 movie. So Pinocchio is able to escape. He tells Jiminy about the girl that he met, her and her puppet, and they end up getting. And now they go right into the Pleasure Island scene. And you know the original cartoon, you know, they were on their way home, and the fox and the cat showed back up to take him to the coachman that was driving the Pleasure Island. In this one, the coachman just sweeps kids off the street at night there, so Pinocchio just gets swept up out of nowhere. This really kind of elevates a lot of things in this new movie, where yeah, Pinocchio actually really is really trying to keep to, you know, honoring his father, and it seems like these situations have escalated more so than the animated movie to almost force him into this there. So yeah, they sort of force him into the whole going to Pleasure Island thing. We do meet Lampwick, yep, like we did in the original. He sort of like he got a New York accent a little bit. Forget about it. Or New York, Brooklyn, kind of. So they get there, and one thing they did change, and I think I know why, and it probably makes sense. In the original cartoon, you know, they had cigars and beer and all that for the kids to drink and smoke and stuff like that. Here, you know, it's live action, and you got real kids in here, real kid actors. So obviously you are not going to want your kids to smoke or drink actual beer, like drink underage. Oh, I got a text message. Okay. So, yeah, you don't want kids to do underage drinking, and you definitely don't want your kids to smoke. Really, none of us really should be smoking. I mean, that's pretty much a cancer stick. So, yeah. Might as... That's pretty much the stick of your death. So yeah, don't want that with real kids. Yeah, cartoon is one thing, but yeah, so what they did to change that a little bit for real actors, they gave them root beer. So yeah, and they was some pretty fancy root beer there, which which really, if they were gonna dub. This sort of makes me think of Master Roshi in Dragon Ball Z, because, you know, he drinks a lot of alcoholic drinks, and there's I remember Phaelus mentioned about some dubs where they turned the beer he was drinking into blue and called it water, even though it has foam on it, when they could have just maybe, you know, called it root beer or something like that. So yeah, but they give the kids root beer. And of course they don't smoke, but they do give them a lot of junk food though, as well as other food too. To just they pretty much laid out Golden Corral buffet for them. Golden Corral. So, and then there's like the you know, like the vandalizing stuff, you know, all the different stuff that they did in the animated series. It's really interesting how it's shown here, and it really gets kind of emotional when you see Pinocchio's reaction to all this. Because, like I say, this version is like he's pretty much kind of forced against his will on this to go here. The original cartoon, he did kind of try to have fun with this a little bit, but this one, yeah, he's really trying to keep. He's really trying to keep himself honest and good there, because he really wants to be a real boy, even more so than the previous versions. However, there's a scene where they're throwing all these bricks into these clocks, and we'll get into why that is I'll get to why that is important a little bit. Then of course we get to the scene where, of course, the boys are turned into donkeys. The minute Jiminy arrives at Pleasure Island to look for Pinocchio, he sees the donkeys and stuff, and like, where all these donkeys come from? And they don't explain this, but there's these weird vapor men. I don't know. That kind of was out of nowhere there. I guess magic. Linkara, what do you have to say? It's magic. It doesn't have to be explained. So, these magic vapor men are gathering all the donkeys for the coachmen, and of course to sell to the salt mines. Jiminy figures it out, and of course we do see Pinocchio and Lampwick playing pool. We don't get the interaction between Jiminy Cricket and Lampwick like we did in the cartoon. You know, when he's like, he's my best friend. Your best friend? And what am I? Just your conscience. Like, you buttered your bread, now sleep in it. And of course when he when he said, go ahead, laugh, make a jackass out of yourself. I am through. This is the end. And before you say, ooh, you said a bad word. Which, come on, if you've been hearing me read Yu-Gi-Oh manga, you know we've been stepping into some PG and PG-13 territory on some of the videos. So yeah, that should not be a surprise at this point. But yeah, just like the original movie, they do say jackass. I remember my mom showed this movie to a classroom one time, and when they got to that, make a jackass out of yourself, the kids were like, ooh, he said a bad word. And mom said, no, that's not a bad word, just another way of saying donkey. He's just using that as a way of saying donkey, because it's in the Bible. Yeah, matter of fact, really in the Bible, they don't even have, like, see, we saying jackass for the movie, but really in the Bible, they just like say Balaam rode his donkey to see Balak. The Bible just translated he rode his ass to see Balaam, which is referring to the donkey. So they don't even put Jack on it. So anywho, language aside, as Captain America says, language. Anywho, we do get that transformation, Lampwick into the donkey, which, yeah, just like the cartoon, it's still terrifying. Like, oh boy, yeah, it's still pretty terrifying. I will admit it's sped up a little. It's a little sped up, but it's not. But it's not too bad there. Like, I put it this way, I ain't finna go make no Twitter post like, oh, why they did sped up the donkey transformation. It just ain't right. I ain't finna do all that and over that. As one of my coworkers said, get somewhere and sit down. Watch the rest of the movie. So, yeah, they do that. He transformed into the donkey. Pinocchio, of course, gets ears and tail. Jiminy comes up. They flee. Matter of fact, the Vapor Men even come in where they're at, so they have to flee from the Vapor Men. They escape, and then they get back to Geppetto's house. And turns out, now this is why the clocks were important. Geppetto had sold all his clocks to buy a boat when he found out that Pinocchio was at Pleasure Island. How did Geppetto find out? From the very beginning of the movie, when Pinocchio went to school, there was a bird, Sophia, a bird named Sophia, I think a seagull, that Geppetto actually would put out food for and feed. And so Sophia actually gave Geppetto a flyer for a Pleasure Island, and Geppetto figured out, like, are you trying to tell me Pinocchio's here? And that's why he sold all the clocks to get a boat and sail out to find him. We actually get to see this. It's not off screen. And Sophia actually tells Jiminy Cricket and Pinocchio about this. Pinocchio is really, and even when Pinocchio saw those clocks, like he said, they remind me of my father's clock. Now he knows that they actually were his father's clocks, because apparently, I guess whoever bought the person who bought the clocks, that's what they did. That's what they were being used for the boys to smash. And I think that the guy, probably I have to look at it again. Might be something if I do a royal talk on this, like, later in the future with Christina. I'll try to pay more attention to that, like, because I only watched it once there. So I try to pay more attention on another viewing for another review to see if that guy, because there was a guy at the very beginning of the movie who wanted to buy Geppetto's clocks and was upset that Geppetto wouldn't sell them. So I wonder if that's the guy he sold them to, and if that guy was the coachman. Could be, because cause he really seemed like he wanted those clocks there, and that's probably why he did. So the boys would smash them along with other stuff they were vandalizing. Then, one other thing about the clocks and some of the stuff in Geppetto's shop. There's a lot of nods to Disney movies. Like you got a Toy Story reference, Maleficent and Sleeping Beauty, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. You got the Lion King. It's a lot of Disney Easter eggs in Geppetto's little shop. Little wooden figurines of these Disney icons. So that's actually a pretty neat addition there. So don't ask me how you would know about Woody and Bullseye. Since they're from the modern era, don't ask. Just enjoy the show. So Pinocchio, with Sophia's help, they actually get some help to get to where Geppetto's at by sea. Of course, we actually get to see a water skiing Pinocchio in this movie, thanks to Sophia. It's pretty cool to see. Pinocchio, they almost made him like a superhero in some of these scenes there. He can water ski. He can start fires with his feet. Of course, you probably want to immediately put that fire out so he don't burn up. But yeah, he can start fires with his feet there. Water ski. He's able to, then like later when they find Geppetto, and of course, Monstro the whale comes out and eats them. Yeah. They find Geppetto first in the boat. Then the whale eats both Geppetto and Pinocchio, as well as Figaro and Cleo, because they're with Geppetto. Yeah, which I think I'm not saying the harp on the cartoon. I'm not saying that the original's bad for this or anything like that. I still love the original, but I'm just saying this particular scene, the way they plays better than what the Disney animated version had, where Geppetto was in there for days, and we don't know exactly how long he had been. They just say for more than one day, obviously. But in this one, yeah, he's swallowed up as soon as Pinocchio finds him. Kind of similar to the Adventures of Pinocchio. So he had, when he went out there, he was swallowed, and then a little bit later that day, Pinocchio got swallowed. So yeah, there was that. And of course, because of Pinocchio's fire ability with his feet, they're able. He starts the fire, and they just so happen to have whale oil to make the fire ignite. Well, make the fire grow. Where of course the whale sneezes. Monstro the whale, by the way. They call him a monster, and he really does kind of resemble. He still got whale features, but he kind of got some tentacle thing going on there. Like, okay, good. Well, they did say he was a monster. Okay, that's a bit of a stretch on the creativity, but okay. So of course there's the chase scene, and where unlike trying to row the boat away from Monstro, Pinocchio is actually able to kick his legs almost like flash speed to get to his legs almost pretty much become a boat motor. This is like, wow, this is a super Pinocchio here. Now, unlike the cartoon, though, no, Pinocchio actually doesn't fall unconscious or anything, or remember they thought he was dead and then he became a real boy. No, that doesn't happen. He actually makes it, but Geppetto is out of it for a while, and they're sad, like, oh no, father. But then after a while, the magic tear, and after a while, Geppetto is breathing again. And they now one thing I am kind of questionable about, just about the ending. I'm wondering, are we supposed to assume that Pinocchio becomes a real boy off screen, because they never show him transform to a real boy, but they do show him and Geppetto walking toward this blue light, which is supposed to be an indication of the blue fairy, cause blue. So I'm just wondering, is he gonna be a real boy after stepping through that light? They don't show him becoming a real boy at the end of this movie, but he just walks into that light. So I think I'm thinking that's what we're supposed to think. Yeah, that's what we're supposed to assume, that he's gonna become a real boy. So that. Oh, and also I forgot to mention, there was one more scene right before the whale scene, when that girl that was working with Stromboli came back, and she even mentioned that Stromboli got arrested, and she was running the puppet, and she was running the whole puppet operation now to make it more like a family business and treat people better. And she invited Pinocchio to come. And Pinocchio was like, "Oh yeah, I'd love to, but I gotta find my father." So she's like, "Okay, well maybe, maybe after you found him, what do you think then?" He's like, "I hope so." So yeah, so I guess that's two things to wonder: the real boy, and also about him and that girl there. That's gonna be kind of a interesting thing. I don't think there's going to be a sequel or anything like that. I highly doubt that. I think it's probably best to be left on that mystery, to speculate our own theories and stuff like that. That kind of leave us wondering. But yeah, that's probably what the intent is for the ending there. So a lot of us can be talking about it on Twitter and stuff like that. So that was Pinocchio. That's what I saw at the movies of Disney Plus theaters, which today was right in my kitchen. So yeah, that's what I got to say off the top of my head from my memory. Like I say, there might be a chance of a Royal Talk in the future, because it's going to be a while before it comes to DVD and stuff. And there's some other, and I know we got some other. Speaking of Royal Talk, we do have some others planned, as well as also some movies that I haven't gotten yet, but I really want to get after I trying to take care of some other stuff. But I really want to get a hold of a copy of Doctor Strange 2, the Chip and Dale movie, and Sonic 2. Yes, because I have not even seen Sonic 2. I've seen Chip and Dale obviously on Disney Plus. Doctor Strange I saw in theater, and I know that's on Disney Plus too, but I want a physical copy of those movies. But yeah, I really definitely want Sonic 2, because I know it's gonna be good. I want to see it. So yeah, got that in plan. Want to get hold of those at some point. And like I said, that's pretty much it. That's all I got to say on that. Hope you guys enjoyed that there, and if you do, definitely like, subscribe. Definitely get some of our comic books. Share it with your friends, and also support us on Patreon, even if it's just $1 a month. We definitely would appreciate that, to support what we're doing on the channel and everything, and to say comic books, reviews, and whatnot. So, yep, do that, and we will see you in the next video. Hopefully the one I got uploading while I'm recording this one is done, which pretty sure it is, because y'all probably watched it. Until then, see you later, everybody.